The knife got stuck in his rib cage. I screamed. Neighbors took him to the hospital. After he was released, he drank poison. Welcome to Bad Life Lessons with Bobby, aka Younger. Those are my names. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Please help your girl to grow by subscribing, liking, and commenting. Well, on my first video, my girly Karen wanted to know how I got the mindset of not desiring marriage or having kids, because that's not a very common mindset to have in Africa, not just in South Africa, but in Africa, because our cultures and the way we are raised grooms us young ladies to worship men, to be pygmalions, to value marriage above everything. But to come across an African girlie like myself who does not have that mindset, who actually centers herself, her goals, her future, her ambition, her success above men, that's not very common. But we do exist, and yeah. And besides Karen requesting for this video, I did promise you that I'll be sharing my life stories regarding my dating life experiences, to help you girlies not to put up with that kind of nonsense that I put up with, and to also help you not to repeat my mistakes. Anyways, let's get on with today's video. Today's video is about how I built a man. It's so embarrassing. Well, I built a man so that you don't have to. You better listen up and learn from me, okay? So let's start the story. I've been with 6 boyfriends, first of all. That's what you need to know. I've been with 6 boyfriends, and I don't want to give them names because maybe you will get confused. I'll just call them boyfriend 1, boyfriend 2, boyfriend 3, and so forth. And of course, I've dealt with more men than that, but I'm not going to be counting everybody I was messing around with. I'm only counting the men that I was trying to build something with, okay? So, boyfriend number 1. I met boyfriend number 1 in the year of 2008. I was in matric. I was doing grade 12 then. He was not in my same high school. He did not go to the same high school. He went to a poorer high school, if there's such a thing. You know, in South Africa, there's like a hierarchy where you have your Model Cs and then your township schools. Yes, I went to the Model C schools and he went to the government schools. But anyway, we lived in the same township. That's how we met. We met in the township. I was with my girlfriends at that time. We were all young. I don't remember exactly where we were going, but like a dangerous situation happened and I was just fearful. So I'm the one who approached him. I saw him standing by the street corner. I approached him trying to get him to save me, to rescue me from that dangerous situation I found myself in. Oh guys, there's a bit of a noise. I hope you guys can hear me. I don't want to pause the video because I don't want to restart it. I'll forget where I ended off. Anyway, so there's this dangerous situation happening. I approach the one and only guy I see, him. I approach him and start like talking gibberish to him because I wanted the people I was running away from to think that I know him, so that they wouldn't come and, you know, hurt me. And it did help. It did help. He was confused, but it did help. And, you know, I don't regret going to him. I never regretted going to him, despite everything. Because, you know, we've had good times. And we did have good times. And I did love him. He was so cute, guys. He looked so handsome. He was a red bone, light skinned. At that time, I had a type, and I was a big colorist. I really liked my men light. So he dressed well. He looked gorgeous. I loved everything about how he looked. So I just don't regret having experienced him, if you know what I mean. So okay, after the danger passed, this guy asked for my number, and I did not have a phone that time. I was using my mom's phone, so I gave him my mom's phone. I told him, hey, this is not my phone, this is my mom's phone. Whenever you call, just say you're from my school, okay? We're in the same class, and mama will let me talk to you. So that was the arrangement. And he was actually my V-breaker, my version breaker. I met him like the second time. Okay, on our second meeting, we did it. I know that was very fast, right? It was so fast. It should not have happened like that. But now that I'm older, I know better. But you know what consoles me is the fact that he also was a virgin. So it's like we took each other's V cards. So yeah, he was sweet. He was sweet at first, very, very loving, very caring. People even thought we were related because this man would wake up earlier than he should to come wait for me by my street, at the corner of my street every morning so that we could walk together to the train station, because he also took a train to his school. So we would take the train together, and then he would also wait for me after school. And then and I would stick my head out of the train whenever we get to his train station. I would stick my head out and call him, and then he would come to join me in the train couch, and we would talk and joke together, walk together every single day. Okay, he was a grade below me. I was in grade 12, he was in grade 11. But, we got along so well. It was so cute, guys. We were always together whenever we could. I come from a very strict home. The only times I was allowed to go out is only to go to school and come back. But I made use of our walks, My mom was very strict. She knew what time my school ended. She knew what time I'm supposed to get home. But, he would walk me home. And yeah, it was a cute relationship in the beginning. People thought we were related because they would always see us walking back and forth from the train station to my home and stuff like that. And of course, my mom did not know about him. He would just stand outside and watch me go in to ensure that I got home safely. So many disturbances today. So sorry, guys. I'm in a public space. Not really public. I'm at work. And there should not be anybody today. I'm supposed to be the only person today. Because school is over. Why are my colleagues here? I needed to be here because I needed to do something. So I just thought I would make use of the quiet time. Okay, let's continue. So I finished matric, and then I went to university, and my boyfriend number one was in matric when I was doing my first year, and we were still doing basically the same thing, walking together from my home to school to the train station. Every day we were doing this up until I came across the news of people squatting in res in the dormitory spaces provided by schools, by the university to students. So I got the idea to lie to my parents and tell them that I am squatting. I want to squat at a residence so that I can be closer to school. And my parents agreed without doing any research. They trusted me. So I actually did not leave at school as my parents believed. I actually went to live with this man. So he had a small shack next to his house. So he kind of had some privacy and stuff. So I went to stay with him. And he was actually from a much poorer family than mine. Trust me, honey, we were poor, but this man was poor. So yeah, me staying there meant I had to take care of the food. I would usually use the Pick and Pay vouchers that NSFAS gives out. I had a bursary funza, and they were also giving out those Pick and Pay vouchers. So I would use those vouchers for my home. Majority of them went to my home, but I would also keep some for us so that we could, survive. And if the Pick and Pay vouchers ran out, I would actually have to make other plans. I was also working as a brand promoter, making a few cents there. So yeah, those cents were helping my family, and they were also helping us to survive. But sometimes I would also have to take some debt from people, borrow money just to buy groceries, and then pay it back whenever I have money. Yeah, but it was a hard life because everything was on me. But I at that time I thought it was worth it. I installed the DSTV for this man in his shack so that we wouldn't be bored, we would be entertained. I installed a DSTV for this man before I installed a DSTV at my home. He finished matric, however he failed. He did not pass. I tried to get him to go to a college. Only towards the end of our relationship, I got him. I finally convinced him to go back to college. But prior to that, he spent many years not doing anything. I would go to school and go to my part-time job, and this man would be just sitting there in his shack all day long, watching porn, watching movies, or drinking with his friends. He was basically living his best life while I was trying to improve my own. People would scare him all the time. Oh, she's gonna cheat on you. She's gonna cheat on you. She's gonna find somebody better there at the university. And he would really stress over this and tell me these fears of his. And I would do my best to ensure him, I will never leave you. I will never leave you. I will build you up. I will make sure that we grow together, that if I'm successful, we're successful together. So he really was not encouraged to better himself, because he knew from what I was saying that I've got his back, that he's good. Anywho, everything was well and dandy, right? He never cheated on me for many years. I don't know if he really did cheat on me, because he did tell me something, or maybe he said it out of anger. It's going to make sense later on. But as far as I knew, he never cheated on me, because I had full access to his phone. He had full access to my phone. We were literally like best friends, right? I got him a driving license before I got myself a driving license. I prioritized this man, and I remember having money, like 20,000, and back then it was a lot of money, and I was planning to buy an RDP house with him, or some land where we could live together. Excuse me. So I really was invested in this man, and I really thought he was the one, Even when he went to initiation school, I met him as a boy. When he went to initiation school, I went to his village, guys. I went to his village. I attended his umgidi. And the most embarrassing thing is I bought clothes for him to change. You know how they wear the blazers and stuff as amakwala, and then after that, after a certain period, they have to change back to normal clothes. His family could not afford that, so I bought him clothes. In fact, it was not the first time I've bought him clothes. I've been buying this man clothes. I've been buying this man clothes. Like, he looked way better than me, even when I was still in tertiary. Like, okay, even like, yeah, when he went to initiation school, I was still in tertiary. I was not yet qualified to work as a teacher. But like, I was doing the most for this man, you know. He would like have brand new techies, while I've never worn a branded techie. I'm here wearing no-name brands, cheap things, and he's here wearing Nike on my expense, Adidas on my expense. Did I tell you that I even stabbed myself in the hand to convince my parents that thieves took my phone, the phone that my mom took on credit, my first phone? Yes, my mom took a phone for me on credit because I was doing so well with in my academics. Besides the fact that I was staying with the man, I was doing so well. So she was proud. She took a credit, like a phone on credit for me. And months later, because I wanted my boyfriend to have it, I stabbed myself in the hand and said, "Hey, mama, look, this is what happened. I'm injured." Thugs came in the train and took my phone, and I got stabbed in the process. And my parents believed that. I gave my phone, my BlackBerry phone that I loved so much. I gave it to this man because I wanted him to have a phone, and I did not have a phone because, like, I could not afford to get another one, and my parents could not afford to go take another phone on credit. They were still paying for that phone. I really wanted the best for him more than I wanted the best for me. Okay, so yeah, he went to initiation school, came out as a khwala. I changed him. I bought normal clothes for him, and everything was fine and dandy. We were always together, and he was not much of a drinker, but like, yeah, we enjoyed each other's company. We were so in love. We were well known, not in the social streets, because I was not a big poster then by that time, but like in the community, in our township, we were known. We were known like we were relationship goals. That's what we were. Okay, things were fine up until his cousin came along. His male cousin, who had just graduated as as a nurse. Yes, as a nurse, he bought himself a car, and then he thought it would be a good idea for him to link up with my boyfriend. And this cousin would come and fetch my boyfriend on weekends. And for the first time, I'd be left in the house alone. This man never left me. We went together everywhere. And he was not a night person. He was not a party person or a big drinker. But like, now that his cousin, who has a car, keeps coming to fetch him on weekends, like, I would be always left in the house alone, and while they go out to drink. And then like, he would come back telling me about how much fun he was having. He did not even care to tell me. Like, he did not mind telling me about how he would dance with hot girls and stuff. And I was not insecure. I think the fact that he's the one who was telling me these things reassured me that he has nothing to hide. And besides, I still had access to his phone. I was not seeing him calling nobody or anybody else calling him who is not supposed to be calling him. So the trust was still there. So he would leave, he would go out to drink, I would stay in the house. He would come back around midnight, and I'd be so happy to get him, to have him back. I literally would not sleep waiting for this man to come back. After he had come back into the house, then I would start sleeping. Then I would fall asleep. I literally would wait up all night for this man to come back, and I'd be so happy whenever he's back. And I did not mind this at all for some strange reason. I only started minding when that cousin stopped bringing him during midnight. He would bring him back like the next day in the afternoon. So not only would I stay up all night waiting for him to come back, but he wouldn't be back in the morning. He's still not back. He'd only come back in the afternoon. And then that's when I started having a problem with it, about it. And then because of this, we started having troubles. We started fighting. And I could see that the nigga was tired of me, right? I could see that he's tired of me, because even when the cousin doesn't come to fetch him, this nigga would like disappear. He would disappear without telling me where he's going, leave me there during the day. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. He would leave me. I would not know where he is. I would search high and low for him. I would try to please call him. I would try to call him, like he would just ignore me. I would search everywhere, high and low, go to his friends' places, and sometimes, most of the time, I always found him in his family house, which was slightly far from where we lived. And I would ask him, why don't you tell me where you're going? And he'd be like, do I have to report every step? Like, he was so irritated. And I think it's because I was always with him. The only time I was not with him, it was when I was at school or at work. So I over-availed myself to him. And you could see that I loved him so much, more than I loved myself. So he started taking advantage of that. So this went on and on and on and on until I got tired. And then I started linking up with my female cousin. And we started going to AC, started drinking. I was not even a big drinker, but I started drinking, and my favorite was brutal fruit. I liked brutal fruit. And I started noticing that I'm getting attention from other men, because I always thought like my boyfriend was the best I could do. Like, no one would want me. Of course, people would try me, right? But for some reason, like when men approach me, especially the men that knew that I was dating him, that kind of like triggered me. Like, what kind of person do you think I am? I'm a faithful girly. You know I'm dating this person. Why are you approaching me? But now I'm having like really hot guys, you know. Some I thought were even out of my league. They were approaching me whenever I went out to drink with my cousin. Actually, she's not my friend. She's my cousin. And we would just have so much fun. And now the tables turned. It was him who had to wait for me now while I went clubbing with my friend. Why do I call her my friend? She's my cousin. Well, while I went out clubbing with my cousin, he would have to wait for me. I no longer had to wait for him. He would have to wait for me for a change. And now he started crying, started begging me to stop drinking. But like, darling, I never knew how good the nightlife was up until you started leaving me for the nightlife, and then I started joining you in that ish. Now you no longer want to go out. You're always at home in the house waiting for me. But now it's my time to go out. So even though he kept crying and begging me, I just would not listen to him, because I was enjoying the nightlife so much. I just couldn't stop, you know. And then like that really, really, really ruined our relationship for some time. And then I remember deciding like, let's get you back at school. Let's have you doing like anything, like find yourself a college. I'll pay for it. I'll pay for everything, okay? Just get yourself a college, and here's money. Go do your license, because you need to start making money if we are gonna get married. Because, you know, I didn't want my husband to heavily depend on me in front of our kids. I thought that would be embarrassing for him. I wanted my kids to also respect him and to know, oh, they can depend on daddy too, you know. This man was so dependent on me, like to the point that every December I went home to the Eastern Cape. He also had to go home because like he would also want to go to the Eastern Cape. And I would have to pay for his bus fare to and from. I would have to pay for his return. And it was just a lot on my shoulders. And I thought, you know, if I can get him to be educated and to have a driver's license, then he can start making money for himself. And then he won't be this reliant on me. And then maybe perhaps he can also help me to achieve some of the goals that I wanted to achieve for us. Okay, I just didn't want to do it anymore, like by myself anymore. So, okay, he went to school. He was doing his driver's license. He was doing it in George, guys, not in Cape Town, in George. And you guys know how far George is. I would pay for him to go there. And he didn't know nobody there. He knew no one there. So that means I would have to pay also for his motel. I would pay for his transportation, for his motel, for his food while he went to do his driver's license. Tell me why he failed it 3 times. After spending so much money, even the hiring of the truck, I had to pay for that. You know how when you get tested, like when they test your driving skills, you have to hire a car. I would hire a truck, guys, and it was so expensive. And this guy failed 3 times, guys. 3 times I had to keep paying for the same thing. Eventually he got his license. Okay, sure. Now he's still going to school. But I'm struggling because I'm paying his school fees, I'm paying for his books, I'm giving him lunch money. Like, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And that time I look like my problems. And he was also starting to look like his problems because I could not afford to buy him clothes no more. I could not afford to buy him clothes anymore. So, in the end, I told him, like, hey, I'm going to have some money coming through, and I plan to give you, like, 4,000 rands so that you can buy yourself some clothes, so that you don't look shabby at school, so that you can look like other students, you know. And he was happy to hear this. And you know, I was not even insecure by the fact that, like, there was this girl, his classmate, that he kept talking about to me. Now that I think about it, I think he had feelings for this girl. Because why was this man always talking to me about this classmate, his female classmate? He had other classmates, but no, this particular girl, she was always in his lips, and I even knew her name by then. And they would even call each other in front of me. I was such a chilled girly, you know, sacrificing so much for a man and still listening to him when he speaks about other girls to me. I will never understand myself back then. Looking back, I don't understand myself, why I did the things that I did. Anywho, he was happy to know that I'm going to give him 4,000. Okay, fine. And then something happened in my family. I don't remember what, but something big happened. I think it was a family death or something, a death of a family member. And, you know, I'm the sole breadwinner at home. So now, I don't think I explained to you guys that this happened during my first year of teaching. Yes, it was my first year of teaching. That's why I could afford having 4,000 for him to go spend on clothes and stuff. Okay. Anywho, something happened. Now I could not afford the 4,000 because I'm the sole breadwinner. This thing needed more money from me, so I had to help my family out. And one thing about me, I'll always put my family before the man I date. Okay. So I told him, hey, I can't give you the 4,000 as promised, but here's 2,000. You can still buy yourself some necessities. Tell me, why did he throw the money back at me? This nigga threw the money in my face because he thought it's so small, and he was disappointed that I promised him 4,000 only to give him 2,000. Sorry, I was thirsty. So he was disappointed with the amount that I gave him, right? Before he threw the money, okay, after I told him, he was like very angry with me. We went, I didn't have a car by this time. We went to the taxi rank. This guy is walking in front of me like he never does this. We always usually walked side by side. Sometimes we'd hold hands, but like we always walked side by side. But now he's walking in front of me. He's cranky. He's not talking to me. We get to the taxi. He sits far from me and he's not talking to me. We get to the mall, Waterfront. We went to Waterfront, the shopping center. We get there and he's like so angry. He eventually starts talking to me. He's like, what can I buy with 2,000? What can I buy? I'm like, well, we can go to Mr. Price, get you some socks, some underwear, a couple of pants, and a couple of t-shirts. 2,000 rands back then, I think this was in 2013. Yeah, it was not that little. It was okay. Even you could even go to Macam or Sports Scene and get like one or two things, you know. But like he was really angry. And then that's when he threw the money at me. He threw the money at me in front of people. In Waterfront Shopping Center. He threw the money in my face. I had to bend over and collect my money. And he's so ungrateful because that time I'm buying him something, but I can't even afford to buy myself a single sock. I'm prioritizing him above myself. So okay, I picked up my money, and by the time I finished picking it, because it was scattered everywhere. By the time I finished picking it up, I discovered 200 was missing. Of course, because people were walking around, you know, and it could have blown to wherever. So I was like, oh well, we lost 200. And by the time I finished picking it up, he was gone, nowhere to be found. I did not know which way he went. So now I'm disappointed and sad. So I went straight back to the taxi. And the taxis in Waterfront that are going to town, where I can get a taxi back to Khayelitsha, those taxis in Waterfront, they don't get full immediately. They take time to get full. So I'm sitting there and there's very few people in the taxi. It's clear that a full taxi just left. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be here for some time. But I'm happy about that because perhaps by the time the taxi is full, my nigga would be in this taxi as well, so that I can talk to him and stuff. I still want to beg him, I still want to talk to him, but I just don't know where he is. So I wait, I'm hopeful. And then eventually the taxi gets full. The taxi gets full, and then it leaves without him. He's not here. And at this point, I'm so broken. Like, my heart was already broken, but now it's shattered because he's not here. I expected him to come back. Like, where is he? So I go back to Khayelitsha, and on our way back, I'm stressed out, man. Like, I want to cry. I'm so emotional. And then I just decided to talk to the lady next to me. She was in her 30s, and I was like in my early 20s. I was a baby, guys. So I just thought it was safe to talk to her about this. And I did not know this person, which makes her even more safer because she won't gossip about me to people I know. She does not know me. So I felt very comfortable to tell her my problems. I always feel comfortable to tell strangers my problems. And, you know, I'm very direct and forthcoming and truthful when I speak to strangers. So I tell her, Sissy, I have this trouble. Can I please talk to you? She says, go on. Tell her, hey, I've been doing this and this and this and this and this for my boyfriend. And now because I promised him 4,000 but couldn't afford 4,000 because of this situation, I only managed to give him 2,000. He threw it on my face and now he's not talking to me. What should I do? That lady became so loud. She was like, what? At your young age, you are feeding a man, building a man. And people heard it. The whole taxi heard it. And those ladies were all on me, Sana, backing at me. Why would you do that? Look at yourself. You're so young. You're so beautiful. Why would you do that? Even me at this age, I would never do that for a man. Hey, they did it. They gave me my news. They're like, he's supposed to be the one doing all these things for you. They gave it to me. They gave it to me. They didn't spare me, Shane. They didn't spare me. So eventually I was like, okay, I could see that, okay, I really spoiled this man. And mind you, a few months prior to this, when I was fighting with him and threatened, we would have fights. And he would say, you can take your clothes. I don't even care about them. You think I care about you just because you do all these things for me? I never asked you to do any of these things for me. You can take them. And he would start getting undressed and throwing dirty clothes on me. And I would be like, this is where I would see how ungrateful he was. Because yes, he didn't ask for anything that I did for him. True. But like he wouldn't ask directly, but he would give hints. He would talk about, this is my only good pants and stuff like that. So he's kind of asking indirectly. And I loved him, and I never wanted him to look shabby. So I would definitely give him the money or buy him things, So yeah. And whenever he threw my clothes at him, like my clothes that I bought for him, whenever he threw them at me, I would always think, what should I do with these clothes? Because it's clear that they've been worn. You can't even sell them. And why does he do this? Because I don't even, in our fights, I don't even mention the things that I did for him. But it's his consciousness. I think he knew that I should not be doing these things for him. So subconsciously, he was not comfortable with everything that I did for him. But he had no choice but to accept it. So he would throw his clothes at me and say, I don't even care about the school. You think I'm gonna beg you because you are taking me to school? I can get anybody else to do what you're doing for me. And I believed him. And there was one particular fight where I threatened to leave him. He said, leave. And then he started packing my things in black plastic bags. Leave now, leave. I'm going to go to George. This is when he mentioned, I'm going to go to George and be with my girlfriend. Yes, the one I've been sleeping in the motels with, the motels that you used to pay for me. I went there to do my license, but I met somebody there. And the money you would give me to eat, I would eat it with her. The hotels you would hire for me to stay, I would stay with her. I don't know whether that one was real. I don't know if it really happened like that, or he just wanted to hurt me with his words. But I think he wanted to hurt me with his words, because even after we broke up, there was no signs of a girl for a long time, for years and years actually. Hey, okay, so now fast forward to this massive fight. These ladies are telling me to leave him. I should not have been doing any of the things that I've done for him. And they spoke sense into me. They told me, you can't buy love, and a man should pursue you. I'm being masculine in that relationship, and he's being feminine and whatnot, But I appreciate those ladies, because till this day I hold those very same sentiments that they preached to me. And it was harsh. They were telling harsh truths that I really needed to hear. So I did not go to his house, because remember, I was staying with him Oh my gosh, I was not working this time. I'm sorry, I was still in tertiary. Because I was staying with him the entire time I was in tertiary. Yes, I was staying with him the entire time. We broke up just before I started working. My parents thought I was staying at Dres illegally, but I was actually staying with this man. Yeah, I didn't go to his house that day. I went to my own house. I remember Mama being so shocked that I arrived home that time. I arrived around like after midnight because the taxi took too long, man. So I arrived home after midnight, and my mom was shocked that I'm back without announcing it. Like, because I would always tell them I'm coming before I came. But I just came unannounced, and it was after midnight. And I was telling her, oh no, they are checking the residents at school for illegal residences, and I'm illegal, so I had to come back. My mom believed it. I went to my room. I put my phone on, like right on the pillow, on loud, just in case this man calls me. I want to hear what he has to say. I still want to hear from him that time. So I fell asleep waiting for his calls, and it was so hard for me to sleep because I was really, really stressed out. He did not call the entire night. I don't know when I fell asleep, but I eventually fell asleep. And when I woke up in the morning, still nothing from him. Now I'm stressing. Eventually in the afternoon, he calls me. He's like, come out. I'm by the street corner. So I go to him by the street corner. I see him there. And he's not here to apologize or to explain himself or what or any of that. He just tells me, I'm here to fetch that money that I threw at you. I want it. I tell him, well, when you threw it, we lost 200. He's like, it's okay, I want it. I went to fetch it. It was still under my pillow. I went to fetch the money. I gave him the money. And I said, take good care of this money and spend it wisely, because this is the last cent you will ever receive from me. I know I should not even have given it to him. I should have drank it or something. But I gave it to him, and I told him, this is the last cent you will ever get from me. He thought I was joking. He said okay, and he left. I never picked up any of his calls after that. He'd call and call, I would not pick up his calls. And then he would come to my house. I would refuse to talk to him. He would cry, he would beg me back. He even got his elderly father involved. His father was in the Eastern Cape. His father knew everything I was doing for this man. Everybody in his family knew that I was trying to upgrade his life. And they knew that should I stop, no one can continue what I was doing. But he had told me so many times that he can get anybody to do the things I was doing for him. So his elderly father was scared to lose me. His elderly father has made so many promises to me about saving up money to pay for my lobola. At one point, I even wanted to pay for my own lobola. I was like, okay, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to save money. I'm going to give this nigga money. He's going to come and lobola me. Because I thought he loved me. He just can't afford me. He just can't afford to do it. So now that I don't want to talk to him, and I haven't visited him for weeks, I'm refusing to talk to him. He got his elderly father involved. His father would call me from the Eastern Cape and beg me and beg me and beg me. I kept saying, no, Papa, no. Because what the ladies told me in that taxi was still stuck. That was my first mind shift. That's when I decided that I would never ever date a broke man. He must either be at my level or above. I don't want to be anybody's savior, because you will save somebody and neglect yourself. I'm saving him. Who's saving me? He's got a license now, a driver's license. I don't have a driver's license. I'm educating him. Like, who you're... So I stopped talking to him, and eventually when he saw I was serious about not coming back to him, he drank poison. Well, before that, I went there with my cousin to fetch my clothes, and he was threatening to stab himself. And I was scared because I thought he was gonna stab me instead. But luckily, he stabbed himself. The knife got stuck in his rib cage. I screamed. Neighbors took him to the hospital. After he was released, he drank poison. I don't know what kind of poison. He almost died. They found him with foam coming out of his mouth, got him to the hospital, and then he lost so much weight. They took him to a mental institution as well. This guy spent like more than a year in hospitals and institutions, mental institutions, trying to recover from the breakup that was his fault. Kisana. So this man did everything wrong to cause that breakup, right? Because I never had plans to break up with him ever. Like, to me, this was my husband, the father of my future kids. I had planned my life around this man, you know, and I didn't foresee myself with anybody else. I just wanted him and no one else. But like after that incident at Waterfront with him throwing money at me and having those ladies preach me in that taxi, I could not look at him the same way again, and I could not see myself doing any of the things I once did for a man, okay? So yeah, with him, he ended up actually, after his long stay at hospitals and mental institutions, he went to the Eastern Cape for some years, and you know, he finally recovered, né? But like even after, like when he came back to Cape Town, he was still skeletal. He was so skinny. It was scary. But because of the damage the poison had done to him, he had damaged his intestines, as I said, like, so he could not eat normal foods. He was just eating, he was only drinking liquids, amacheu. And it took him such a long time to recover. It took him years to recover. Right now, he's got a kid with somebody, and he doesn't claim to love that person. And, well, they're no longer together anyway. After the kid, they broke up. He's a taxi driver using the license that I made for him to make money for himself. So you see, that relationship, our relationship, benefited him even long after, many, many years after the relationship ended. So yes, he's a taxi driver now. He's gained weight. He can eat anything he wants to eat. He's healthy physically, and we are friends, okay? But he never got to finish his degree, like his diploma from that college, because after I broke up with him, nobody could pay for him. Like, his family was too poor to do it, and he couldn't get himself a girl who was stupid enough to do what I was doing. So yeah, he couldn't. He had to quit despite his beliefs, because before our breakup, he really thought that he could get somebody to take over what I was doing for him. We are good friends. And sometimes because of that, he becomes delulu. He tells me, oh, you know, I would do anything to get back with you again. And I've never been able to find a girl like you, whatnot. Of course, you will never be able to find another stupid me again. We are once in a lifetime kind of things, you know, the kind of girl who's gonna have bad weaves, bad braids, cheap clothing, cheap shoes, but she's making this money and giving it all to a man. No. I never took anything from his shack. The bed we were sleeping on belonged to his older sister. He inherited it after her death. So that was not my bed. But the fridge, the TV, kettle, anything else, you name it, was all bought by me. But I left it all there. I left it all there. And he still hasn't changed or upgraded any of those things, you know. I think that the fridge even stopped working. He can't replace it now. He can't get himself another one. Like, he's just stagnant, because I spoiled him for so many years. I never taught him how to go get things done for himself, to the point now he can't get anything done unless somebody would come over and do those things for him once again. So in his mind, he thinks if we were to get back together, I'm still that stupid girl who would be spending on him. Like, come on, no. One time he even saw me wearing a Gucci coat, a Gucci jacket, a jacket from Gucci. And he was like, oh, could you please buy me that? Like, years after we've broken up. I think this was like in 2020. And I broke up with this person in like 2013. So 7 years later, he's asking me to buy him a jacket from Gucci. I was like, what do you take me for? I was so triggered. I was so angry that he even has the audacity to ask me to buy him something. I will never buy him something. Hey, I bought him enough to last him a lifestyle, like a whole lifetime. Imagine he's still chowing, eating, because of the driving license I made for him. That guy, he opened my eyes. Never, ever, ever, ever will I ever date a guy who's below me. I'm no one's savior. I'm no one's, and I don't want to be anybody's savior. Because even me as a woman, I'm not waiting for a man to upgrade my life. I'm doing it by myself. Oh, guys, I learned I will never build a man. I will never build a man. Because you could be building him for someone else. If a man wants to improve, he must build himself. I'm also building myself. I would rather build me. And I kind of regret some of the things that I did for him, because, you know, I could have gotten a better laptop for my studies back in tertiary. If I was focusing on myself, I could have been cute at school, you know, with good hair and good clothes. I was shabby, guys, because I prioritized the man more than Hey, I could have given myself a good school life. I could have given myself a better school life. Imagine I used to sleep in the toilet sometimes if I have examinations quite early, like too early, and then maybe I don't have money to go back and forth. Like, guys, I would even walk to school. There were times that I would walk from this man's house to Belleville, UWC, just to attend classes. So if I walked from his house and I have an exam in the morning, I can't afford to walk back, because that means I will have to wake up early, and maybe the exam is at 8 o'clock. I would have to wake up, I don't know what time, to walk from this man's house to get to school on time. So I would just walk to school, and then, like, if the examination is tomorrow, walk to school, study the whole day, spend the whole day in the study hall, and when I need to go sleep, go to the bathroom, sleep there, and then tomorrow at 8 be in the examination hall. Like, I put myself in bad situations that could have been avoided because my focus was in providing for a man. Those are the things that I regret. But at the same time, I feel like I was very blessed to have gone through these experiences while I was still working small jobs here and there before I started making money. Because had I kept this nigga in my life until I started working, I'm telling you, I was going to buy a car for him. I would never have owned a car or learned how to drive. I would have done it for him. I was going to be one of those teachers who are driven by a man to school and from school, and then that man can take your car and go cheat while you are busy teaching when he's out there impressing girls with your car, out there impressing girls with your money. I'm glad it happened before I even could qualify for debt. Because if I could qualify for debt, for more debt, let me not say for debt, for more debt, because I even opened an account for him. I took things for him on account, Uzi, or from Uzi. Imagine if I was still with him while I was working as a teacher, I would have taken more debt, more things on debt for him, bigger things. I've seen so many teachers in debt because of a man. I would have been one of those teachers. So at least my experience came earlier on. Oh my gosh, they're starting to disturb now. So I'm glad I learned my lesson earlier on. And it's a lesson I would never, ever, it's a mistake that I would never, ever repeat again. Okay? So yeah, that's my reason why I'm always talking about never building a man. It comes from my personal experience. This is what the experience that has caused me to never want to give broke guys a chance. Those of you who come from my social media page, like such as Facebook, they know I'm always against women building men, women building with men, women dating poor guys, broke guys. Like, I'm always against this. This is the reason. Now you know. This is the reason. Anyway, we've reached the end of my story. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and most importantly, I hope you learned from it. Please tell me how you feel, what you think about my experiences. If you have your own similar experiences that you would like to share with us, please do so in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time. Love you. Mean it.